Well, the Orlando shootings have once again sparked a national discussion on things like guns, accessibility to guns, and gun violence. Joining us now live today on 5 on 2, we welcome back Dr. Patrick Oliver, an assistant professor of criminal justice at Cedarville University, but also the former police chief in both Fairborn and Cleveland. So you come at this from both an academic and a real-life perspective. So you're the perfect guy to talk to on a day like this. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me today.
I know you've been watching the discussion closely and the coverage since the events early Sunday morning. What strikes you as far as what people are saying, what they're getting right, and maybe what they're not getting right?
Well, I think what they're not getting right is gun control as being the source of preventing this type of incident. It really depends on your philosophy of the Second Amendment. If you believe the Second Amendment allows unrestricted access to weapons, then any type of weapon a person should have. If you believe that restricting certain type of weapons will moderate someone's access to weapons, which it probably will to some degree, then you might want to restrict certain type of weapons. But I think you have to start with the individual, not with the gun. Well,
let's explore that a little closer, because in this particular case, he had two guns that he bought legally. I mean, there was no problem with him buying the guns because there was nothing legally to stop him from doing so. But one of the guns he bought was an automatic weapon, an AR-15. I heard a former retired military general last night that's saying, in his opinion, an AR-15 is a military-grade weapon that belongs only on the battlefield and nowhere else. Your thoughts on AR-15s and those types of weapons being bought and sold to regular civilians?
Once again, depends on your philosophy. What do you believe about the Second Amendment? I happen to believe that it allows unrestricted access for any type of weapon. It's the right of the individual to bear arms. I also believe in their own weapons and have their own weapons, the less prone they probably are to violence in their own home.
Chief, I think another source of frustration of a lot of people on this particular issue is the fact that the FBI had this guy on their radar for several years. They had interviewed him face-to-face 2 to 3 times, and for whatever reason decided to close the file on him, and then he goes and does this. I mean, that is a source of great frustration to people. How do we change that? I mean, again, did the FBI do anything wrong here?
The Fourth Amendment covers search and seizure. For law enforcement to get involved, to arrest someone, to indict someone, they have to have probable cause or reasonable suspicion. If they don't have that, then, you know, if people aren't breaking the law, they have the right to be left alone. So I think it's good that the FBI didn't go beyond the Constitution.
And I guess finally, we're living at a time when we go into a public place like a nightclub. It's incumbent upon us now to find out where the exits are. Are the exits open? I guess in this particular case, some of the exit doors were locked. Just from a public safety point of view, I guess we need to be more heads up.
Yes. You know, there are 3 guidelines if you're in a situation like this. The first one is run. If you can escape, run. Know where the exits are and get out. The second one is hide. Hide from the perpetrator. Hide from basically the person with the weapon. And the third is, if you can't run or hide, is to fight. Yeah. And the message to Americans in this type of situation, if you have someone who basically is an active shooter and you can't run or hide, you need to take them on.
What a world we live in today. Dr. Patrick Oliver, we also always appreciate your insight.
All right.
Thanks for joining us today on 5 on 2. Very good. Katie, back to you.